I spent my high school years staring at the pine trees outside my classroom window and picturing myself on the campus of an Ivy League university, where my wealthy roommate, Colgate, would leave me notes, reading, "Meet me on the quad at 5." I wasn't sure what a quad was, but I knew that I wanted one desperately. My college friends would own horses and monogrammed shoehorns, and I'd spend weekends at my roommate's estate, where his mother would say things like, "I've instructed Helvetica to prepare those little pancakes you're so fond of, but she's had a devil of a time locating fresh Cape gooseberries." This woman would have really big teeth that she'd reveal every time she threw back her head to laugh at one of my many witticisms. "You're an absolute caution," she'd bray. "Tell me you'll at least consider joining us this Christmas at Bridal Haven. It just wouldn't be the same without you." I fantasized with the nagging suspicion that there was something missing, something I was forgetting. This something turned out to be grades. It was with profound disappointment I discovered it took more than a C average to attend Harvard. Average, that was the word that got to me. C and average. The two went hand in hand. I was sent instead to a state college in western North Carolina, where the low brick buildings were marked with plaques reading "Erected 1974," and my roommate left notes accusing me of stealing his puka shell necklace or remedial English book. I expect someday to open the newspaper and discover the government had used that campus as part of a perverse experiment to study the effects of continuous, high-decibel Pink Floyd albums on the minds of students who could manufacture a bong out of any given object, but could not comprehend that it is simply not possible to drive a van to Europe. I spent my year buckling down and improving my grades in the hopes that I might transfer somewhere, anywhere else. I eventually chose Kent State because people had been killed there. At least they hadn't died of boredom. That was saying something. "Kent State," everyone said. "Do you think you'll be safe up there?" I arrived the following September and was assigned to a dormitory largely reserved for handicapped students. It had always been my habit to look away from someone in a wheelchair, but here I had no choice as they were everywhere. These were people my own age who had jumped into a deceptively shallow pool or underestimated the linebackers of the opposing team. They had driven drunk on prom night or slipped off their parents' roof while cleaning the gutters. One little mistake and they could never take it back. The paraplegics gathered in the lobby, perfecting their wheelies and discussing their customized cars, while the quads purred by in their electric chariots, squinting against the lit cigarettes propped artfully between their lips. The first quarter, I roomed with a fellow named Todd, an amiable Dayton native whose only handicap was having red hair. The quadriplegics had the best drug connections, so we often found ourselves hanging out in their rooms. "The hookah's over on the shelf," they'd say, "right next to the rectal suppositories." Over time, I grew accustomed to the sight of a friend's colostomy bag and came to think of Kent State as something of an Ivy League university. The state would pay your board if you roomed with a handicapped student, so the second quarter I moved in with Dale, a 75-pound sophomore with muscular dystrophy. I learned to bathe Dale and set him on the toilet. I turned the pages of his books, dialed the telephone, and held the receiver against his mouth as he spoke. I dressed him and combed his hair, fed him and clipped his toenails, but I can't say that we were ever close. Midway through the term, Dale was sent back home to live with his parents, and I moved in with Peg, a fun girl with a degenerative nerve disease. Peg was labeled an incomplete quad and liked to joke that she couldn't finish anything. Already we had something in common. She had come to school to escape her parents.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.